Hey traders and investors, welcome back to this channel and welcome to the month of December. This is the final trading month of the year, the month where volatility spikes, liquidity drops, and big end of year moves happen fast. Today is the fourth day in December 2025, which means it's time for our monthly stock watch video. And we'll be covering 6 top tier names that have moved up and down a lot recently, from crypto treasury companies to AI cloud and mega cap tech companies. We'll look at how they did in November, what catalysts drove them, and what to look out for in December. So whether you're a day trader, a swing trader, or a long-term investor, this video will help you. So without further ado, let's dive in. First up, we have Bitmain Immersion Technologies with ticker symbol BMNR, currently trading at $31.91. So BMNR released its financial results on the 21st of November for the period ending August 2025. They reported a net income of over $328 million and an earnings per share of $13.39. Their net income increased more than 10,000% from last year and held flat since last quarter. And what this indicates is that the company has kind of figured out how to be consistently profitable in the long term, but it's still facing some growth headwinds. And this could negatively impact the stock's value if it continues like this next quarter. They also announced a small dividend of 1 cent per share, making BMNR the first large cap crypto company to do so. And this move signaled their aim to deliver real shareholder value. But the real headline was the recent reports that revealed BMNR's crypto plus its cash plus other moonshot holdings totaling $11.2 billion, including 192 bitcoins, free cash of 800 million, and 3.63 million Ethereum tokens, which is nearly 3% of Ethereum's supply, making it the largest corporate holder of Ethereum. What this means is that BMNR is leading harder into crypto treasury strategy, and this led analysts to revise their one-year average price target from a lower base up to $76.50 per share in mid-November, which is about 25% increase in expected value. So BMNR had pouring interest from institutions, massive crypto holdings, and a dividend, which is rare for crypto firms, and its long-term fundamentals are improving. But despite all of these, BMNR's price continued to drop in November and in massive volume. By late November, BMNR stocks had dropped 83% from its peak of 161 in July, even with all its crypto acquisition. And this reflects how concentrating one's entire resources or tying a company's treasury to one single asset can greatly affect a company, coupled with the timing of when this happened and investor sentiment in the market. BMNR is holding nearly 3% of Ethereum's total supply, which gives it huge exposure to Ethereum, but at the same time, it is exposed to a lot of risk. So when the market corrected, that exposure translated directly into stock losses. So if you want to trade BMNR going into December, given how volatile crypto is, especially Ethereum, BMNR could swing wildly. And because it also depends heavily on overall crypto sentiment. So here's what you should look out for in December. If Ethereum or Bitcoin rally resumes, or the crypto market gets bullish, BMNR could pop. So watch out for key support and resistance zones on your trading chart. A good entry might be on the dips, but tighten stop losses because of volatility. Next one is Robinhood Markets trading with ticker symbol HOOD. For Robinhood, surprisingly, there wasn't much impressive news in November. Volume was mild and the usual discussions among retail traders were subdued compared to the big cap tech or AI names. That said, As of early December, Robinhood's price is trading around $125.95. As we discussed in previous videos, Robinhood tends to follow market sentiments broadly. So it's very active when there's high interest and quiet when the focus shifts elsewhere. After hitting all-time high of 153 in October, Robinhood's price has fallen 33% to a low of $101.90 in late November, breaking below all our key levels of support here, 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 and here, before being rejected at this level here and reversing back to the upside. So this level here is holding our support, which was a previous resistance level. If the downward trend continues and price continues to drop, we anticipate a drop to this next support level here. But if it continues upwards, then look out for breaks above key levels of resistance or support. Currently, Hood is making its way back up and making higher highs and higher lows. It has broken above this previous support and pulled back to retest, now holding support at that level. This is an indication that the uptrend is going to continue. And if you zoom in closely or even switch to a lower time frame, let's quickly switch to the 30-minute time frame. Okay, so you will see this nice pin bar candle formed here. This is price action signal telling you price is going to reverse back upwards, and this is where you should be placing an entry. I've done some videos on price action trading strategies that shows you how and when to enter and exit trades. If you have not watched it, please do. It will help you a lot. So when you place your entry here, set a stop loss below it, and then you may exit at the recent high, or you might just want a take profit at 20 or 30% or more. But given the volatility in AI and crypto, Robinhood might remain within this range unless there's a catalyst like a new product launch or regulatory moves or a surge in retail trading. So for December, keep an eye on the larger market sentiment. If retail trading picks up, Robinhood could benefit. Otherwise, treat it as a lower volatility stock and trade accordingly. And next, we move to AMD Advanced Micro Devices, currently trading around $215.24. Over the last few months, AMD has delivered strong returns. It released its third quarter earnings report for the period ended 30th September 2025 on the 4th of November, with a growth in revenue that jumped 36% from 7.68 billion to 9.25 billion. And its earnings per share rose from 54 cents to 75 cents. This growth underlines how investors are still bullish on chip makers as the AI and computing cycle unfolds. So that said, the month of November saw a broader pullback across many AI exposed names, including chip makers, because of macro uncertainty and concerns over valuation. So AMD went up 10% as investors reacted to the news of a solid earnings report and pulled back on a broad sell-off afterwards, following the report of a spike in job cuts and another one later in response to the report that showed Meta was planning to go to buy Google's TPUs, which signaled a new competitor in AI could emerge. In last month's review, I suggested price could drop back to this support zone around 224 to 25 and further down to this previous resistance of 186. And now we can see that it has broken this support level and even moved further down close to the second support level. So now support is holding at this level here. AMD remains a top tier chip maker with exposure to computing and AI demand, and its year to date performance remains strong. So no doubt AMD is a good stock to trade short term and invest in long term. But watch out for if macro uncertainty continues, like interest rate hikes or supply chain issues or economic slowdowns. Cyclicals like chips can get hit hard, and also competition among chip makers remain fierce. So in December, you have to trade wisely. Watch out for price consolidating around support zones and a possible rebound if overall market sentiment turns positive or AI infrastructure spending picks up. Now let's look at Palantir Technologies with ticker symbol PLTR. As at today, its current price is at $170.69. So Palantir had a big moment in November. On the 3rd of November, the company released its third quarter 2025 results that crushed expectations. A 63% year-over-year growth in revenue of 1.18 billion, which significantly exceeded market expectations. They also beat adjusted earnings per share at 21 cents, which was above the consensus estimate of 17 cents, a record free cash flow, and strong profitability. They raised their full-year revenue guidance to 4.4 billion, citing growth driven by enterprise AI adoption and government contracts. On the surface, this looks like a big win for AI plays, but stocks don't always trade on fundamentals alone. Despite the strong results, Palantir's share fell more than 15% and 24% in the days after, as investors balked at what some call sky-high valuation and rotational pressure. In addition to the fiasco, a well-known investor, Michael Burry, disclosed a large short position against Palantir and even warned against absurd valuation, and that spooked many traders. That is why there was this massive sell-off that pushed price down, breaking below the support zones I called out in my previous month's video, here and here, and hitting our next support zone here, before being rejected and reversing back upwards. If you were in my coaching group, you would have entered at this level here, and by now you would have gained more than $20 on this price move already. So if you want to join my one-on-one coaching group, you will find the link in the description below. So back to Palantir. Watch for long-term bulls in December. Price may consolidate or pause and rally after profit taking. For swing traders, watch for support levels and look for entries at retest. And don't forget to use your stop loss. Apply risk management, very important. Also, watch for catalysts like new contract announcements or any news that could reignite momentum. So Palantir's strong earnings as well as their rising free cash flow, accelerating enterprise AI adoption, and raised guidance all provides a compelling long-term story, and it works for Palantir's stock. But beware of high number of short interests because big short interests create downside risk, and sentiment, especially among short-term traders, is very fragile. Next is Tesla with ticker symbol TSLA. As of today, Tesla's price is at $429.24. So Tesla staged a comeback in the third quarter of 2025 after its shares fell throughout the first quarter, but it managed to perform marginally in the second quarter, and things have been looking better since then in the fourth quarter. But November was mixed for Tesla. On the negative side, the company is facing headwinds from weak sales in certain key markets, particularly Europe, signaling a weakness in its demand. Also, just like with many high-growth names, rotations in wider markets and macro uncertainty created volatility for Tesla. On the positive side, however, there was renewed optimism when CEO Elon Musk announced through his social media post the aggressive plans for AI chip development and ambitions to roll out more advanced self-driving and robotaxis. In addition to that, one day in late November saw Tesla's share pop up about 7%, making Tesla one of the top performers in the S&P 500 that session. So as it is, Tesla is out of the red on the year with a gain of more than 13% in 2025. But since it hit its 52 weeks high of $488 on December 17, Tesla remains down more than 10%, trading at its current price. In November, Tesla's price fell 19% from its high of $474.02 to around $380, again breaking below our first support and close to our second called out support zone here. So it's holding support around this 380 and 383 zone as price bounced off there and reversed back up. What has worked for Tesla is its long-term vision, which investors remain convinced. The AI chips, robotaxis, and full self-driving vehicles. All these are what fuels the optimism that leads to the occasional bounce backs. So we still expect Tesla's price to hit its expected target of 500. So if you're going into Tesla for short-term trades or investing long-term, watch out for any weakness in their demand, as well as any regulatory or macro risks. And the fact that Tesla's valuation already reflects high expectations, any disappointment could trigger a pullback. And use December to watch price action around support levels. If Tesla announces more concrete AI chip or milestones in robotaxi roadmap, the price could rally. Otherwise, be ready for the dips. And last but definitely not the least is NVIDIA with ticker symbol NVDA. As of today, price is around $181.46. So November gave mixed signals for NVIDIA. On one hand, some hedge funds sold off their positions, including one notable exit by a fund connected to a major investor. On the other hand, institutional investors like Invest Financial modestly increased their stake. More importantly, the demand outlook remains strong, and leading into their earnings report, analysts raised earnings per share forecast for 2026 from $4.45 to $4.54, reflecting confidence in continued demand for AI and computers. Also, even as broader AI stock valuations came under pressure, NVDA and chipmaker peers like AMD showed resilience by staging rebounds. But after the initial sell-off in early November that fell price by 15% to this low, price has continued to drop, breaking below these key support levels. And if you have been following my previous monthly stocks update videos, you will recall these support levels that I suggested here, here, and here, if the trend shifts and price continues to drop. And if you look back, you'll see this level where price was rejected is where we had earlier marked as support. So that said, the broader AI bubble cooling mindset, as well as tightening macro conditions and some regulatory and export control talk, all keep NVIDIA stock risk higher. No doubt when it comes to the demand for AI infrastructure, NVIDIA remains arguably a top tier player. And with its strong earnings expectations and institutional backing, all are keeping NVIDIA ahead of its peers. So if you're going into NVIDIA, you want to watch out for macro headwinds and valuation risk, as well as competition, execution on next generation chip rollouts, and also geopolitical and regulatory risks. These are stuff that will likely trigger NVIDIA's price for an upward or downward movement. And in December, watch out for deep buy setups and favorable earnings and renewed momentum if macro concerns ease. And also keep your radar on AI cloud deals or any macroeconomic signals. And that's the full stock breakdown for December 2025. Markets are entering the final stretch of the year, where volatility skyrockets, liquidity changes, and the biggest opportunities show up out of nowhere. We saw winners, we saw turbulence, but we also saw long-term trends crystallize, from crypto treasury plays to AI cloud infrastructure and mega cap chip leaders. Stocks like BMNR and Tesla move fast in both directions, and stocks like NVDA, PLTR, and AMD move with institutional flows and macro catalysts. So remember to always use proper risk management. If I were building a 2026 ready portfolio today, I would allocate a core to long-term themes like NVIDIA, AMD, or PLTR, a tactical slice to opportunistic plays like BMNR, and maybe a small speculative bet on Tesla or Robinhood, but only if I'm comfortable with volatility. So drop your favorite stock for December in the comments. And if you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up to like, and make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss next month's recap. So I'll catch you in the next video. Happy trading and investing.